Warning! You're watching Dr. Todd Lee TV, where theoretically you could learn a bunch of cool shit.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our show. It is I, Todd Lee, and this is Coach DJ, and we're here to answer your questions. Oh, man. Did you see the title that Jake put on the video that dropped today?
I did, and I haven't had the chance to watch it yet. I just read the comments. I haven't got to watch it yet.
I haven't even read the comments.
I never know what...
Let's read.
I don't know what parts are kept and what parts aren't, so...
Right, and me neither. So it's called Terminally Stupid is the name of the episode. I don't even remember this, but let's see. Respect for the OCD Todd. I don't remember what that's in regards to. In regards to physicians and continuing education in the hospital, when I talk to coworkers about NAC, peptides, etc., these physicians try to either shut me down or have no clue what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, many physicians only stick to what they have learned in school, especially the critical care setting. I wish they would continue to be more open-minded and continually research, but they leave that to the CDC. Yeah, I mean, most doctors aren't scientists, that they're basically in it for money, that they're not in it to progress science or move the world forward. Someone said, I don't care what Tolkien wrote. Golem was black. Do you know what that's in regards to? Did I even bring up Golem in that episode?
I'm sure you did, and I'm sure I had no idea what you were saying, and then I read that comment. I was like, cool, I don't understand that either. I didn't understand it then, and I don't understand it now.
Well, it's a quote, so he isn't even speaking from himself. And it's like, okay, 11:15. Man, I know the feeling all too well. I own a Vox AC30, and it sounds different depending on which the wall outlet I plugged it into. A total bitch to set up recording. I don't remember what that was in regards to. There is something with Coach DJ's eyes. Either it's her makeup or she's wearing contact lenses too much. She blinks way too often and dry as fuck. It was a good episode. Thank you. Okay, and then you responded, I think it's being on camera. I can't get my eyes open in pictures because of the excessive blinking, but they're normal, healthy, normal eyes. Aw. First of all, Baphomet.
For the record,
yeah.
My husband pointed out I blinked so much that I put on smaller eyelashes so you wouldn't notice the blinking, but I do this the whole time we record, and I have no idea why. And now I'm like, is this why my pictures always have eyes closed in them? An excessive blinker.
I've never heard of that. I never noticed.
You're the doctor. Why do I blink so much?
Well, I think it has.
Now I'm trying to keep them open.
Do you want me to answer? Like.
Yes. Why do I blink so much?
All right. Remember how you said that your armpits sweat for the first 10 episodes?
Yes.
So it's just nervous. You're still not 100% comfortable on camera.
Oh, it's nervous.
That's all
blinking.
it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So, first of all, Baphomet shirt is badass. Second, I specifically came here for Todd to call me stupid, so I keep my shit together. No idea what I said that was offensive. Sorry, I hurt someone's feelings. I think
this was the one where we talked about everyone being called stupid. I think that was this one.
Oh, where the percentage that 49% of people have below average intelligence?
Yes,
by definition, everyone thinks they're smart, but by definition, 49% of people are stupid. Yeah. All right. So ways to estimate if you're high estrogen on test while fat with gyno. BP up and no morning wood. That guy should be on HGH with his test. Be interested in finding out if he's hypogonadal. Hope he hires one of you to set him up for diet or whatnot. I don't know what he's referring to, but Josh is never wrong.
Oh, that was one of the questions we got.
This was great. I'm glad someone has the nuts to say it. However, I'd much rather deal with sub 100 IQ person who is willing to learn and change their mind when presented evidence than a higher IQ person who already knows everything. Jim, I really think that most of the time, the people who pretend to be high IQ but are closed-minded really aren't as smart as they pretend. Aging like fine milk. Oh, that was, let's see. These are other save your hair. These are other comments. All right. Did you get any questions?
I did get
So
some.
I'm glad that all the
I only
comments
posted
were
it a few hours
positive.
ago, though.
Nobody was angry at us. So we must have had.
Give it a few hours.
Well, I think it has to do not with what you say, it's how you say it. Which, if I'm smiling and laughing when I'm making fun of people, they like it. That's being roasted. If I'm angry and saying the truth, that people are angry back and they send angry little comments.
Fair. So I want to start with this question because this kind of opens the door for a really important topic. They said, sourcing is an issue here and everyone's hushed. And typically I find if it's really an issue for you, then you're probably a jackass and there's a reason people aren't willing to sell you. But anyways, sourcing is an issue. Everyone's hushed. If I buy online, what type of testing can I do to see if it's real? And will I get reported for sending it in for testing?
I don't know. I know that everyone I know trusts Janoschik. I don't know how to get a hold of them.
So they offer full HPLC testing, but it is quickly becoming like the industry standard. Almost all the websites that you see are going to post the certificate of analysis from them. The biggest thing though is you can send in products independently. Like as a normal person, you can buy something and send it in, but it is better to do batch testing. It would be something where you want to make an investment because it is very expensive. As far as I know, it's completely discreet. You get the report. And when you are looking for that certificate of analysis, you can make that on Canva. You can absolutely fake that, Photoshop it. So the websites should have an email address where you can cross-reference and confirm that they have actually sent in products for lab results. But outside of that, I don't really know about like the ones in the US that promote like $20 they just test for the presence of a compound, right? Like that's not going to be a detailed analysis.
You know how I test? I go, and if it's real, it's real.
And this kind of circles back, and this is why I really like this question on the importance of working with a physician like yourself. Always circles back to lab work, no matter what, because you don't always know what you're getting. Some compounds are not going to be prescribable. You have to go underground to source them. And whether you've had it tested, whether it has a certificate of analysis, a lot of times your lab work is going to reveal if it's real or not. And that's why you need someone like you to order labs and assess them. I had someone that, we added in Mastron, titrated up, we pulled labs, and estradiol like quadrupled. That doesn't happen. So lab work can tell you a lot. You need to work with someone that can order you labs or have a doctor like Todd that can pull those values for you, especially if sourcing is an issue and you're not sure about what you're getting.
I mean, I've never had fake shit. I've been doing this 15 years. Never once.
Never had anything fake? Mm-mm. We had fake AIs floating around in my town.
I never had anything fake. So, I mean, I also never bought from websites. I always knew the person who made it. So.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this is, I think more people again, it's accessibility. It's a lot of it's who you know. So a lot of people have to resort to just going online. But again, they see the COA, not realizing like I can make a COA in Canva. I can make cool, what are the YouTube video banner things called? I can make those. So I can make a COA too. That's just something to keep in mind, that that's not the end all be all unless you can confirm it. And then the other one, I don't want ball shrinkage. Which compound do I use? I'm assuming this was in reference to something I made about kisspeptin, ganadorelin, or HCG. Do you have a preference for testicular atrophy specifically?
Probably HCG. I mean, like, why don't they want ball shrinkage?
I have found a lot of males, older males, like in their 60s, that is where testicular atrophy seems to really be a concern. Whereas my younger guys are like, if my balls are small, then my dick looks bigger. Like, no complaints here.
Well,
They don't really mind. It tends to be my older demographics that are very concerned
it's so
with the
weird.
atrophy aspect.
It's one, do girls like big balls? I think it depends on the girl. Two, do girls like big loads? It depends on the girl. So usually HCG will make your balls bigger and make your loads bigger.
Best of both worlds.
So we know where DJ stands in this case. So as far as
It was in theory.
so in regards to that, if your primary way of getting girls is dick pics, then definitely want smaller balls, because then your dick looks bigger. I mean, so it just depends. Like, obviously 6-year-old dudes aren't sending out dick pics to get girls, but maybe the younger guys know that that's something that, although girls say they don't like dick pics, if it's a solicited dick pic, they do like them. So that
Solicited dick
yeah, that's
pics.
the operative word, is they have to ask for it. They ask to see your dick, and you have giant balls, your dick's going to look small. Or if you have big hands. So you want tiny hands and
big hands.
small balls, and then you can send effective dick pics.
Professional dick pic advice to
Well,
get the most out of your photos,
I'm
long as they
I'm
are
not going to give advice
consensual.
on dick pics besides that. If you want a good course, the Euphoria, what's her name? Mary Jane from the Spider-Man movies. She has a dick pic course in one episode of Euphoria where she gives a class presentation on how to properly take a dick pic and what good and bad examples of dick pics. It's pretty funny.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'll have to see that.
I don't know which season or episode it is, but Euphoria is worth watching. And in that show, she teaches the class how to give dick pics effectively. So, yeah, I guess for if you want good dick pics, let your balls shrink.
And have small hands.
Yeah, and have small hands.
Okay.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, Fusion Regenerative Therapies, where I am the Director of Human Performance. This is the practice in which I practice medicine. We will be able to order you blood work and read your blood work and help you with therapy as needed based upon the results of your blood work. Please click the link to get a consult with me, and I can help you optimize your performance. Thank you.
I get this one a lot, and it's there's so many different things to take into consideration, but it's typically the first question people ask when they're starting to look or dabble in enhancements. How much muscle can I gain starting testosterone?
I don't understand this question. I think it's so weird that people think
people think we can provide them an actual value. Like, if you start 200 milligrams of testosterone a week, and in 16 weeks you will gain X, Y, and Z precisely. I think that's what they're hoping for.
that's so sad. That steroids are there to increase the speed that you can recover from workouts, so you can do more volume per unit time. So if you could normally recover from 10 sets of chest per week with steroids, you might be able to recover from 20 sets of chest per week, which means in theory you would grow chest twice as fast.
And if we go back to the basics, like really, really, really backwards, there's a lot of things that have to happen to grow muscle. Just taking steroids is not the only thing. And I feel like the people that ask these questions are also the men that eat 2 to 3 small meals a day and have a lot of Red Bulls.
Right. And I've had this conversation with a client today, is that he wanted to start PEDs. I'm like, you're not healthy, you're overweight. That there's no point in adding PEDs to this equation. That steroids don't make you grow muscle. They make you grow muscle faster, but you have to do everything right to grow muscle first. You have to be in a calorie surplus. You have to be training close enough to failure to stimulate tissue growth. You must be training with enough volume to effectively stimulate tissue growth. So if you're getting enough volume, you're training with enough intensity, and you're eating in a calorie surplus, you will grow muscle with or without steroids. The steroids just allow you to work harder. So if you're not already a hard worker, the steroids serve no purpose. It's like
it always goes back to the work. They're not doing the work for you.
Right. It's if your car can go 200 miles an hour and you drive 40 miles an hour, and then you get some things done to your car, so now your car can go 400 miles an hour, it doesn't change the fact you're still only driving 40 miles an hour because you haven't pushed the gas pedal down. And the only time steroids would make sense would be if you're pushing the pedal to the metal and your car is shaking at 150 miles an hour and you need to go 200 miles an hour. You can then use steroids like a nitrous and then catapult you forward to up to 210 miles an hour. But you're not going to be hitting the nitrous button when you're got your foot on the brakes, because then you're not going to go anywhere. It doesn't matter if you hit the nitrous or not.
Yeah, you have to have everything else in place. The framework has to be there. And of course, genetics as well.
And the other thing is, like, if your mentality is, I want to use, if you are basically the Tony Huge approach, which is, I want to do the least amount of work possible and use money to fill in the gap where I lack discipline and effort, that doesn't work. He lied. Tony isn't lazy. He pretended to be lazy to trick people like you into this, that there is no way you can cut corners and grow muscle.
Okay. Testosterone plus DHT derivative. It is the standard.
Now,
I would agree
now
with that.
it's the standard.
Why not Anavar?
Because Anavar is bad for HDL, which in theory is because it's doing micro damage to the liver. And I've seen that on GGT. So you're hurting your liver on paper. Would injectable Anavar be great? Sure. But I mean, that's what Primo is. Primo was designed to be an oral. So it does hurt your liver more than Masteron. But I'm not convinced that injectable Anavar would be better than injectable Masteron. So now we basically tried to convert a hexagon into an octagon and an octagon into the dodecahedron. But in the end, you're still just trying to recreate a circle to make a wheel.
I think at the end of the day, I mean, I don't like orals in an off-season context, especially like in a building like that. I wouldn't use Anavar, but there's so much enticement because it's readily available through clinics. It's legal and it's not an injectable. And you would not believe how many people I get asking, how many men I get asking on a regular basis, even with all of this, gear content and anabolic stuff out on the internet. How many men ask me, can I run Anavar solo? Can I just take Anavar? Like, I just want a little bit of performance. Can I just take Anavar? On a regular basis? There seems to be, people are just drawn to it.
Yeah, I know, it's weird. And it's part of the culture that I never understood, which is people have said to me, like, you would not believe how many people don't take steroids because they're afraid of needles. And that if they could just, that's the whole point of orals, is for girly men who don't want to use needles. And that's why they get so angry if you put down D-ball and Anadrol, is that it's just, at the end of the day, if you want to look like a man, you might have to actually try being a man. And a man doesn't run from a conflict. A man doesn't run from a challenge. So if the hardest part of your life is you're too much of a pussy to use a needle, then learn how to do math and learn how to suck it up and use the needle. Because all the safer drugs are the injectable ones. The orals are never going to be as safe as an injectable.
So injectables, this question is specifically addressed to you. Todd, what injection sites do you use? I typically do my delts. I'm assuming they're just alternating delts right now. Right. They want to know what your injection sites are.
So triceps, delts, lats for the insulin syringes. If I'm ever at the point where I'm doing 3 cc's a day, every day, then that is, in my case, that is when I'll use a 25 or 27 gauge hypodermic syringe and use the full size needle. But almost no one requires that unless they're a pro bodybuilder.
What do you inject in your triceps? What do you do? What do you do in your triceps?
Whatever.
Ugh.
All of it.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could.
It's
do
not
that.
hard. It's like right there. You just go boom. You can do here one day, here the next day, here the next day, here. You can go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 6 injection
That's
sites.
way more mobility than what I would ever expect.
What?
I cannot believe how long you just got your arm up.
Like that. For ab and thigh. See, you got to be able to push your hands together. And then there's lats. All of this is lat. So you go bum, bum, bum.
A lot of
bum,
people
bum.
do not like lat injections, and that's typically one of the areas that I recommend trying. A lot of people are opposed to lats for some reason.
I didn't do it for the first 14 years. I just started doing lats. They're great.
People don't have lats. That might be.
Well, most people don't. Here's the thing. If you don't have enough muscle to fit an oil bolus in the muscle, you don't need that much of an oil bolus.
Yeah.
The amount of steroids you need scales up with the amount of muscle tissue you have, because you have more and more receptors to use the steroids. But if you have baby muscles, then use baby doses of steroids.
Baby muscles, baby doses. I am not hypogonadal, but I'm using steroids for performance enhancement. Will this negatively impact my sex drive? I'm assuming that's like in reference to like specifically libido, maybe.
I always say the same thing. It's like, there are girls hot enough that they'll get anybody hard. And there's girls so ugly that you're not going to get hard no matter how horny you are. So you just have to find a hot enough girl. Or you just, if you don't feel like having sex, you get to use that as leverage. It's just like, I want you to take out the trash. It's like, okay, I want you to do this. It's like, yeah, but I'm the one with the pussy. It's like, well, I'm the one with the dick. And since you want my dick more than I want your pussy, my dick's worth more than your pussy. So look who's taking out the trash now. This is so simple. People don't look at it economically. Who needs the orgasm more? And then whoever needs the orgasm more.
It's all about leverage.
Yeah, then they're your bitch. What are you not saying? Because I can see you're thinking a whole bunch of shit and you're not saying any of it. This is one of those times where we're going to get off the call and like we're going to get off the recording and you're going to be like, oh my God, Todd, I was trying so hard not to say all this. And then all the cool shit will come out that you never share on camera.
It's so hard. And I told you it's weird because my mom watched this and she was like, I can see it in your eyes. You're holding something back or you're trying not to laugh. It's so hard. And I can feel it in my cheeks. My cheeks get sore when you say something. I have something I want to say. It's like it's trying to force itself out of my mouth and I'm holding it.
It's like you get quivering dimples when you're trying to resist the urge to like share. Like right now.
Yeah, I'm not trying to have the whole thing put on Rumble, though.
Well, are we at the 30-minute? No, we're not at 30 minutes. All right. Yeah.
It doesn't show me on my end, or if it does, I'm covering it.
We're at 22 minutes and 50 seconds.
Oh, I see it
So
now.
after 30 minutes, we can, what do you call it, turn into a pumpkin, because it's going to be on Rumble anyway.
Oh, was I meant to be the subscriber on Rumble. I never figured out Rumble. I have it figured out now. So
I think Nick's going to do it. We're at 99.
This is the most...
It's so fucking weird. We're at 2,800 on, what do you call it, the censored channel. But the uncensored channel, we're only at 99. And these people wonder why they don't have any freedom left. Why don't you support freedom if you want to be free?
This was a really... This question was like non-applicable, but I figured this would be a good plug to like say, hey, this is why you work with a coach and you get cost breakdowns and planning kind of thing. But how much would a cycle cost?
Well, it depends on what you need.
I mean, yeah, that's the most open-ended question. But I do think it's important people are exploring finances before trying to commit to something.
I'll tell you what I do. All right, so let's see. Let's start with Serostim. A bottle of Serostim a day is $90. So that's about $2,700 a month for Serostim. I just started that this month. If I was to use Metotropin, which so far I have not detected a difference between Metotropin and Serostim, but everyone tells me you got to try Serostim for at least a month at 18 units a day to see the full effects. Use it like an AIDS patient, use it like it's prescribed. And basically I was going to just do the Pepsi challenge, take a whole bottle of Metotropin a day, and then take for a certain amount of time, then take a whole bottle of Serostim a day for a month, and then go back to a whole bottle of Metotropin and get serial blood work. And I'm in the process of collecting the data. I don't want to discuss my findings until I've completed the experiment. But the moral of the story is that's $2,700. Then I go through, let's see here, one bottle of Masteron every 6 days. So that's 5 bottles a month. They're 75 bottles each, $75 each. So that is, what is that? $350, $375. So we're up to $3,075. Then using the testosterone, I'm using basically like 1.5 bottles a month. They're $40 each. So that's $60. And then Primo, I go through like one bottle every 2 or 3 months. Bottle Primo's $90, so probably about $30 a month. So if you look at it this way, it's like how much is the testosterone? Testosterone for me, I'm a pro bodybuilder, is like $60 a month. Primo for me, I'm a pro bodybuilder, is like $30 a month. So $90 a month for the test and the Primo. And then that's at $840 and $210. So that's a gram of gear that costs about whatever that ends up being, is $90 a month. Then I'm spending a shit ton on 2 grams of Masteron a week. That comes up to being $375. So still, my gear total is only $460 a month, and then the GH is $2,700. So if I was to use Metotropins, even at a bottle a day, it's still going to be $800 a month. So I could run the exact same cycle for $1,200 a month using Metotropin instead of Serostim. Now that's using 18 units of GH a day, and that's using 3.1 grams of gear a day. A reasonable person would use maybe 250 tests a day and 2 units of GH a day. So that would be 1/9 of that. So that would be like $80 a month, $90 a month worth of GH, not even. And it would be like one bottle of test would last you the whole month for sure, right? 200 times 10. Yeah, it's 200
like what,
a
10?
week. It's 10 weeks. Yeah, so you're basically looking at $16 worth of testosterone. So you spend $16 in testosterone and $90 a month on GH to use affordable underground lab in generic GH. So that's negligible. I mean, think about it, $16 a month to use testosterone. So that's like letting your girlfriend go to Starbucks one time. So for one fucking time she goes to Starbucks and gets a 750 calorie ass widening latte for $15, that would be the equivalent to you having more than double a normal human male's testosterone for an entire month. And then if you get her nails done,
basically,
if you get her nails done once, you could instead be on growth hormone and stop aging. You could live forever and be a man forever. You could live forever for the cost of feeding a woman's Starbucks addiction one day and getting her nails done one time every month.
They're high maintenance. They go every 2 weeks or something. So
yeah, nails. They go to Starbucks every day. That a woman who goes to Starbucks is going to cost you about $2,700 a month. $270 a month. It's $270 a month to basically support a girl with her Starbucks addiction. And then
yeah, bitches in their Starbucks, not me buying an espresso machine.
Yeah, it's like, and then $80 every week for their lashes, $80 for their hair every 2 weeks, and $80 for their nails every 2 weeks makes girls end up costing about $440 on top of the Starbucks is $600. It'd be $710 to afford a girlfriend if all you're paying for is her coffee, her nails, her lashes, and her hair to get done. For that much money, for the amount of money of a girlfriend, not counting car payment and phone payment, that you could have, how much gear would that be? $700 a month. You could be on 18 units of GH a day. You could be on a gram of Test, and you could be on a gram of Masteron or a gram of Primo. You could be running true grams of gear and 18 units of GH a day, or you could pay for your girlfriend Starbucks, her hair, her nails, and her lashes.
This is a real conversation that I have. I do have male clients that are like, my wife's not comfortable with me spending on this. Well, if I go through this, if I get it prescribed, it's going to be $80. I'm like, $80 lasts you 10 weeks, bro. So this is, men, if you're watching, remember this conversation, because what I typically bring up is like, what does the average hair appointment cost? Women are not like me. They're not dyeing their hair green and they're getting it cut once a year. Like, they're going every 6 weeks like clockwork and doing all the fancy blonde stuff and the fancy curls. So if we just even break that down, surely your wife can spare $80 every 10 weeks to make sure you look and feel and perform your best, which will ultimately benefit her. And we have to have the cost breakdown that, like, realistically getting on test and maybe just 2 IUs is a very reasonable request, especially if you are married to a female. Because we're expensive.
I would just say the opposite. Rather than trying to play on them having something like a conscience or love you, I would say, like, we have the money, we just waste it on trying to make you look pretty. That instead of paying for you to get Botox.
Don't ever say try. Yeah. Don't say try.
No, because if you're married, she's stuck, right? So it's like, I waste this much money on Botox. You're not fooling anyone. That we know how old you are. That it's $600 a month for you to be on Botox and to look like you're trying to be immortal. Or I could spend $100 a month on myself and actually be immortal. So I'm going to choose my immortality. And you can, I don't know, get a job. And then once you go get a job, you could pay for your own Botox. You could wait tables.
And that's a new rule. If your wife gets Botox, you get steroids.
I mean, why do you get to inject your face, but I don't get to inject my ass? Or delts, or triceps. Yeah. It's like, how about this? I'll order Botox and I'll inject your face. And with the money that I saved on injecting your face, I'll inject myself with what I want. Because a bottle of Botox only costs $300, but for you to get 10% of that bottle is $600, because you're paying a nurse to give injections. They don't teach bitches how to do injections for Botox in nursing school. It's like, I'll figure it out. What's the worst thing I can do? I paralyze your face? That's the goal. I hope you're liking this video. I would get banned on YouTube if I showed any more of this content. So, if you want to see the rest of this video, head on over to the Rumble channel. Links below.